You ever meet someone and feel like your very own soul recognized them before your brain even caught up? Like some ancient part of you that doesn't speak in words, just set up and paid attention. And that same person turned around and ran so fast in the opposite direction that you almost wondered if you had imagined the whole thing. That's what we are really talking about here. Not just some ex who ghosted you after a few mediocre dates, not just someone who got cold feet because things were moving too fast, but the person who was supposed to be your mirror, your counterpart, the one who reflected back every single part of you that you'd been hiding from yourself. And then they spiraled straight into the arms of someone who's actively using them, draining them, manipulating every move they make because they are lost and confused and too proud to admit they need help. You see, when someone runs from something real, they don't just run into nothing, they run into something. And that something is almost always worse than what they left behind. Because real love, even when it's hard, even when it's painful, even when it makes you want to scream into your pillow at 3 in the morning. Real love doesn't manipulate. It doesn't control. It doesn't feed on your insecurities and amplify them until you cannot remember who you were before you met this person. But what your person ran into, that's a whole different beast entirely. And you know exactly what I'm talking about because you felt it. That gnawing sensation in the pit of your stomach that something is terribly wrong, that the person you love is being led around by someone who has absolutely no interest in their well-being, only in what they can extract from them. Whether that's money, tension, validation, or just the sick satisfaction of having power over someone else's heart. You thought the separation was the worst part, didn't you? You thought the silence, the distance, the way they just disappeared without a proper explanation, that was the bottom of the barrel. The deepest cut you could possibly experience. But now you are starting to realize that the silence might not have been the end. It might have been just been the beginning of something far more insidious. Because while you were picking up the pieces of your own heart, your own life even, while you were trying to convince yourself that you were better off without them, while you were journaling and meditating and doing all the things that healthy people do to heal, your person was walking straight into a trap. And the worst part is they don't even know it yet. Or maybe they do. They are just too embarrassed to admit they made a mistake. So they are doubling down, pretending everything is fine. Putting on this elaborate show for the world, while inside they are crumbling. I want you to think about what it actually looks like when someone falls into the hands of a manipulative third party. Because this isn't just some casual flirt or a reboot relationship that fizzles out after a few weeks. This is something much darker, much more calculated, and much harder to escape from. This is someone who sees your person as a project, someone who identifies their weaknesses and vulnerabilities and exploits them with surgical precision, someone who slowly isolates them from everyone who actually cares, including you, especially you, because you represent the one thing this manipulator cannot control, which is real, authentic connection that doesn't require games or power plays or psychological warfare to maintain. You probably noticed the changes happening even before the official split. That slow, almost imperceptible shift in their behavior. The way they started pulling away just a little bit at a time. The way their responses became shorter, more guarded. The way they stopped sharing the little details of their day that used to be the glue holding you together. That wasn't just them losing interest. That was them being systematically reprogrammed by someone who understood exactly which buttons to push, exactly which insecurities to exploit, exactly how to make them feel like you were the problem, like your love was somehow suffocating or controlling or too much to handle, while simultaneously poisoning and positioning themselves as the easy, uncomplicated alternative who just wants to see them happy. No strings attached. But here is the thing about people who manipulate like this. They always want more than they say they want. They are never satisfied with just being in someone's life. They need to be the only person in their life. They need to dismantle every other meaningful relationship and replace it with themselves, because deep down they know that their connection is built on sand, that it cannot withstand the weight of genuine comparison. That if your person ever got a moment of clarity, ever stepped back and looked at the situation objectively, they would see exactly what was happening and run from the hills. That's why they work so hard to keep your person confused and exhausted and emotionally depleted, because a tired person too easy to control. A tired, confused person doesn't ask permission, questions, doesn't trust their instincts, doesn't remember that they used to be someone who knew exactly what they wanted and were not afraid to go after it. You have probably been asking yourself why. Why would they choose this over what we had? Why would they trade something real for something so obviously hollow and performative? And the answer is both simpler and more complicated than you think. The simple part is that they were scared, terrified actually, of the depth of what you shared. Because when you feel something that real, it demands something from you. It asks you to show up fully, to be honest about who you are and what you need to risk being truly seen by another person. And for someone with an avoidant achievement style, that's basically the scariest thing in the entire universe. The complicated part is that they were already primed for this manipulation long before they ever met you. They had wounds and patterns and coping mechanisms that made them vulnerable to exactly this kind of predator. Someone who promises the world while delivering a cage. Someone who makes them feel special and chosen, while slowly eroding every bit of their authority. Now, the third party in this situation, I want to be really clear about what we are dealing with here, because this isn't just some random person who happened to catch your person's eye. This is someone with a specific agenda, a specific set of tactics, and a specific ability to identify and exploit the exact things your person is most insecure about. They know your person is avoidant. They know your person has a hard time with emotional intimacy. They know your person craves connection, but is terrified of being trapped. So they create this illusion of safety, this facade of being the one person who gets them without asking for anything in return, while simultaneously engineering situations that keep your person dependent on them for validation, for direction, for a sense of self that they are no longer able to generate on their own. And this is where it gets really insidious, because the manipulation isn't always obvious. It's not always dramatic yelling matches or obvious demands. Sometimes it's subtle, almost kind. Is the way they always seem to have the perfect solution for every trouble, every problem. The way they anticipate your person's needs before they even express them. The way they slowly become indispensable, like a drug. Person cannot function without. That's the trap right there. This slow, gentle slide of dependency that feels like love, because it looks so much like caring, because it's packaged in words that sound supportive and gestures that seem thoughtful, but underneath it all is a need for control, a hunger for power, a pathological inability to let anyone else have meaningful access to your person's heart. You might have noticed your person becoming more secretive, more defensive, more quick to anger when you ask simple questions about their life or their choices, because they are living in a state of constant low-level anxiety, always trying to manage two different realities. The one they present to the world, where everything is fine and they made the right decisions, and the one they can barely admit to themselves, where they know on some level that they have made a mistake, a terrible mistake. That defensiveness, that tendency to bite your head off over something small, that's not who they really are. That's the cumulative effect of being slowly poisoned by someone who has convinced them that you are the enemy, that you are the one who wants to control them, that you are the one who cannot handle their autonomy. all while the real predator is standing right behind them, whispering exactly the opposite. All while the real manipulation is happening in plain sight, disguised as love. The hardest part for you, I know, is watching all of this from the outside, feeling so helpless, knowing exactly what's happening to them, and being completely unable to do anything about it. Because any attempt to intervene just makes you look like the jealous ex, the one who cannot let go, the one who's trying to sabotage their new happiness. It's a perfectly designed trap. And that what makes it so frustrating and so painful, because the more you try to help, the more you try to warn them, the more evidence they have that you are exactly what the third party says you are. And the more they pull away, the more they trust the very person who's destroying them. It's like watching someone walk toward a cliff while you are tied to a tree, screaming at them to stop. And they just keep walking because the person walking with them is telling them the cliff is actually a beautiful road, a beautiful bridge, meadow. And here is what you need to understand about the dynamic between your person and this manipulative third party. It's not sustainable. It's not built on anything real. And it's already starting to crack, even if you cannot see it from the outside. Because real connection requires give and take. Yeah, it requires vulnerability and authenticity. And the willingness to be seen in all your messy, imperfect glory. And what this third party is offering is the opposite of that. It's performance, it's control, it's the illusion of intimacy without any of the actual risk. Eventually, inevitably, the mask starts to slip. The cracks start to show, and your person starts to remember what it actually felt like to be seen and loved and accepted for exactly who they are, not for the version of themselves that someone else is trying to mold them into. You might think they don't miss you. You might think they have completely moved on. You might think all those years together meant nothing to them. But I promise you, they think about you more than they will ever admit. They carry you with them everywhere they go, and especially in the quiet moments when the third party isn't performing, when the house is silent, and they are alone with their thoughts. They are flooded with memories of you, the way you made them feel safe, or the way you actually saw them, not the projection they are trying to maintain, but the real, flawed, beautiful person underneath. That's not something that disappears just because you put some distance between you. That's not something that gets erased by the manipulative third party, no matter how skilled they are at creating confusion and doubt. And another thing, the third party knows this. By the way, they know your person hasn't really let go of you. They know there is still a thread connecting you. And that's why they work so hard to sever it. That's why they try to control your person's narrative about you, to recast you as the villain, to make every fond memory seem like a manipulation, every moment of genuine love seem like a trap, because they understand on a very deep level that as long as you exist in your person's heart, they can never have the complete control. They can never be the absolute center of your person's universe. And that drives them absolutely crazy. It makes them more desperate, more aggressive in their manipulation, which ironically makes the whole house of cards even more unstable. You can probably feel it too, can't you? That strange energetic pull, that sense that something is shifting even though nothing has changed in a physical world. That's the connection, the bond that third party cannot touch, cannot even understand, because they have never experienced anything like this, anything like it themselves. They can control behavior, they can control access, they can control information, but they cannot control the soul connection between you and your person. They cannot control the dreams you have about each other, the synchronicities, the moments when you just know deep in your bones that your person is struggling, that they are reaching out to you in whatever way they still can, even if they are not conscious of it. Now, I want to talk about what this experience is actually doing to a person, because it's important to understand that they are not just having fun or living their best life or whatever narrative the third party is selling them. They are being systematically broken down, stripped of their identity, and reconstructed into someone who compliant, more dependent, more disconnected from their own intuition and judgment. That is what happens when you fall into the hands of a truly skilled manipulator. You stop trusting yourself. You start second-guessing every thought and feeling. You become reliant on them to tell you what's real and what's not, what's true and what's your imagination, what's love and what's just your neediness talking. It's a form of psychological imprisonment that's harder to escape than any physical cage, because the prison is inside your own head, and the warden has convinced you that you need them to survive. You might be feeling angry right now, and that's completely understandable. You might be feeling betrayed by your person, hurt by their choices, frustrated by their blindness to what's happening to them. But underneath all of that, I know you are feeling something else too, something that surprises you, maybe. Compassion, because you can see the situation more clearly than they can. And you know that they didn't set out to end up here, that they didn't consciously choose to be manipulated and controlled, that they were just scared and confused and made a series of bad decisions that led them straight into a trap that was built exactly for someone like them. That compassion is what makes you different from the third party. It's what makes you capable of the kind of love that doesn't disappear when things get hard. And it's exactly what will eventually call your person back to themselves. Even if it doesn't look like a grand romantic reunion anytime soon. This is the part where I need to say something, add something that might be hard to hear. You cannot save them. You cannot fix this. You cannot control the outcome no matter how much you want to or how much you love them. The third party can only hold onto your person as long as your person allows it, as long as they keep choosing to stay, as long as they keep believing the lies. And the only thing that can break that hold is your person's own awakening, their own recognition that they are in a situation that's hurting them, their own willingness to walk away and figure out how they are without anyone telling them who they are. You can pray. If that's something you do, you can send them love in whatever form feels right to you. You can hold the vision of them waking up and seeing clearly, but you cannot drag them out of the hole they have fallen into. They have to climb out on their own, and they will when they are ready. And here's the thing about awakening. They are really pretty. They are really graceful. They usually involve hitting some kind of bottom, some moment where the illusion shatters so completely that there is no way back, way to put it back together. That's what's coming to your person. That crash, that reckoning, that moment when they look around and you realize that everything they thought they had is actually nothing, that they traded something real for something fake, and that the person they thought was helping them was actually slowly destroying them. It's going to be painful, really painful. It's going to be humiliating, and they are going to need someone who can hold space for that pain without saying, I told you so, without judgment, without conditions. And that someone is you, whether you like it or not, whether you think they deserve it or not. You don't have to decide right now what you will do when that moment comes. You don't have to decide if you want them back or if you will even be available when they finally realize what they have done. What you need to focus on right now is yourself, your own healing, your own awakening, because that's the only thing you have any control over. And it's also the only thing that will make a difference in this situation. Because when your person finally does wake up, they are not going to want to come back to someone who's still stuck in the same place they were when they left. They are going to want to come back to someone who's grown, who's expanded, who's become even more of who they really are. Someone who proves by their very existence that real love doesn't need to chase or beg or manipulate. It just is. It just is. This experience, as brutal as it's been, is actually doing something really important for both of you. It's showing you that what kind of person you are, what you are capable of, how deep your capacity for love actually goes. And it's showing your person eventually what the cost of running from love really is. What happens when you choose the easy path over the real one. What it feels like to trade gold for glitter. They are going to look back on this period and wonder how they could have been so blind, how they could have let someone manipulate them so completely. And that's when the real growth happens. That's when they finally learn the lesson they have been avoiding for years. That real love doesn't run. That real love stays. That real love makes things better, not worse, not more confusing, not more painful. So, here is what you do in the meantime. You stop checking their social media, stop asking mutual friends about them. You stop replaying conversations and trying to figure out where you went wrong. Because none of that is going to help you or them. And it's exactly what the third party wants you to do. To stay fixated, to stay obsessed, to stay in this state of anxious waiting that keeps you from actually living your life. You live your life. You do the things you've always wanted to do. Travel, for example. You become the person you've always wanted to be. And you trust that the universe has a plan for all of this. That none of it is random. That every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of wondering if you are crazy for still caring, it's all part of something bigger than you can see right now. Something that will make sense when you're looking back from a place of healing and understanding. And when the day comes, and it will come, when your person finally breaks free from the third party's hold, when they finally see clearly what's been happening to them, they're going to think of you. They are going to remember that you never stopped loving them, even when they didn't deserve it, even when they pushed you away, even when they chose someone else over you. They are going to realize that your love was never about control or possession or winning, or it was about actual wanting what was best for them, even if that meant letting them make their own mistakes, even if that meant watching them fall into the hands of someone who didn't care about them at all. That's the kind of love that changes people. That's the kind of love that leaves a mark that cannot be erased by any amount of manipulation or distance or time. And that's exactly the love that's going to call them back to themselves, whether you are there waiting for them or not. The third party doesn't stand a chance. Not really. Because what they are offering is control. It's temporary. It's dependent on keeping your person confused and off balance. And that's just not sustainable in the long run. The truth always comes out. The real always wins over the fake. And love, real love, authentic love, the kind that doesn't need to control or manipulate. That kind of love always finds a way. Always finds a way. Your person is going to wake up. And when they do, they are going to be horrified of what they have allowed to happen. They are going to feel ashamed and embarrassed and so sorry. And they are going to need someone who can meet all of that with grace instead of judgment, with understanding instead of anger. That someone could be you. but only if you have done your work, your own work first. Only if you have healed enough to be a source of stability rather than another source of confusion and pain. So take a deep breath right now and let yourself feel everything. The anger, the hurt, the longing, the compassion, the part of you that still loves them even though you wish you didn't. The part of you that wants to see them happy even if it's not with you. The part of you that's secretly hoping they come back. All of it. Just let it be there without trying to push it away or make it different. This is the work. This is the work. This is what heals. Not the searching for answers or the trying to control the outcome, but the sitting with your own feelings, the understanding your own pain, the becoming someone who can hold both the love and the loss at the same